So once you have an idea for an Android app, what is the very next step that you should take?
Well, you should figure out if that is actually a good idea from the people that are going to be using your application, your users. Is this an idea that someone's going to actually use? Because you don't want to build something that no one's going to use. I think proving out that idea should be the next thing on your mind.
Yeah, and you can do that whether it's from a technical perspective, really making sure that the technology is there to pull off the idea, but also from a design perspective, as Tony mentioned, going out and talking to people and getting that feedback to make sure you're on the right track with your idea.
Now, do you resist the urge to start coding immediately? I mean, is that what you should do?
So Tony and I work for EffectiveUI, and we're building applications for clients all the time. And we usually try to get into code as soon as possible, again, to validate and make sure that we can actually pull off some of the things that the client is asking for. But really, it's kind of whatever you need to do in order to make sure your idea is sound and you can actually execute on it.
Yeah, I don't think you need to resist the urge to code immediately, because that could be something useful. Code's pretty cheap. You can spend some time getting something like a prototype together, and we can use anything from paper prototyping to actual sort of a fake application type of a thing to start to get the idea proven. So if you're a developer and that's your tool of choice, then start with the code and get something that you can put in front of users, and that's what you can use to prove out your idea. So a little bit of somewhere in the middle. It's kind of a gradient, I guess.
Right. When should design and UI be considered? Right from the get-go?
Well, I think so, but implicit in that question is sort of it's a little bit of a conflation of a lot of different of the design types. So what we talked a little bit about yesterday was interaction design. So I definitely came to programming with kind of a mindset that, well, designers are the people that'll give me something that'll look nice, and I'll do the rest of the work.
Right.
And there's a little bit of truth to that, and there's some false parts to that too. Designers do a lot more than just make things look great, because that's just one part of design. There's a great quote from Steve Jobs, paraphrased, design is not just how it looks or how it feels, but how it works. So as developers, you're actually a designer. You're making design decisions because you're affecting how things work. So when I guess you should be considering design is right from the start. You are considering design right from the start, but
right.
As for the UI stuff, I'll hand that to Juan.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really have much more to add than what Tony said, but really everybody in the process is involved in creating or designing this final application. Mm-hmm. So we all need to take it upon ourselves to really understand what the problem is that we're trying to solve and work together in order to create that great application.
How can user testing be handled efficiently?
Yeah, so fortunately at EffectiveUI we have our own division for doing user research, and it's not always that we have a client who wants to pay for user research, so we always try to do as much as we can to understand and gather as much information about the user, and we'll do some kind of guerrilla user testing approaches where we'll go out to Starbucks and just give people $5 gift cards and try to use that technique to gather information. And really anybody can go out and do this, and you don't really need to have a wide breadth or sample. 5 to 15 people that you're talking to, or just as many people as you can talk to, is going to benefit and set you on a better course. Right. To again create that great application.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, just you can start simply. If you're not really sure, I'm thinking of in my mind of a garage developer, someone who's just doing it for themselves.
Sure.
Just start simply with your family members or your friends. Put something on paper in front of them or on a device in front of them, and kind of get an idea of how they're going to use it. And the next steps would be to actually try to narrow down on the actual the types of users that you're expecting to be working with, and if you get access to those people, getting in context with them, like we heard about in the keynote today, is really important. And it scales. It scales down,
right,
and up to much more a higher level of user testing.
So last question for you guys. Once an app is out there, what should you be doing? Do you have any marketing or outreach recommendations?
Yeah, so it really depends on your budget. I mean, fortunately, in most cases, we're working with clients that already have a substantial user base, and they have people that are already asking for mobile applications. If you're an independent developer, I've worked on several side projects in the past, and the way I usually go out and try to reach people is, set up some monitoring system to see what people are talking about on the web, target people that are talking about things that maybe dovetail right into some of the needs or goals that your application is able to tie into, and just post comments on blogs, talk to some of these online or print-based magazines, get in touch with them, really make sure the language that you have up on the in the marketplace, the Android marketplace, has great content and it clearly explains what your app is meant to do, as well as having great screenshots and media to support what you're trying to sell with your app. So,
well, thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate you taking the time.
thanks for having us.